Hey, how's it going, guys? My name's Ash and welcome to the Linux Beginners series. In this series, we'll try to cover everything you need to know to get started with Linux. Without further ado, let's begin. You've probably heard about Linux before alongside Windows or Mac OS. And of course, these are what we call operating systems. And Linux in itself isn't just one operating system as you would Windows 10 or Mac OS Big Sur. It's actually a family of operating systems that's using the Linux kernel. Now, you might be asking, what is a kernel? It's quite difficult to explain a kernel without fully understanding what an operating system is and how it works. So let's do a quick recap on that. An operating system, or OS, is the main software that runs on a computer. It basically manages the hardware or the physical components inside the computer and translating those operations or those electrical signals into what you see on the monitor, basically allowing you to browse the internet, play games, or watch movies. At the very core of an operating system is what we call a kernel. Think of it as the heart of an operating system. To make a complete operating system, you would need, of course, the kernel, and also other basic application suite as well. For examples, a desktop environment, which allows you to move around with your cursor, or a file manager, which allows you to access files, and things like that. Now remember I said at the beginning that Linux is just a kernel? So to make a complete operating system based on the Linux kernel, you need to bundle it with a set of basic application suite, like I mentioned, to make it fully working. This freedom or ability to fully customize a Linux-based operating system, together with the fact that Linux is an open source software, which means anyone can freely download it and modify it however they want, is the very reason why there are hundreds of Linux-based operating systems out there. Because they all have one thing in common, which is running Linux as the kernel, they're usually referred to as Linux distributions, or distros for short, instead of a separate operating system. I try not to go into too much details about the history of it, but I think it's worth mentioning that Linux started out as a hobby by a guy named Linus Torvalds in 1992. Yeah, a single person, completely revolutionizing the computing world. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We've come to the end of the video and I hope you guys had enough background to at least move forward in your Linux journey. In the next video, we're going to take a look at the different types of Linux-based operating system or distributions and choose the best one that works for you.